some site contractors, and I just wanted to go live randomly tonight and basically hang out with y'all for a little while, answer some questions for any new folks that are here in the industry and want to start up a lighting business. So anybody has any questions or anything like that, feel free to go ahead and hop on. We're live on YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, so hopefully y'all see this. I hadn't done any prep or anything like that for tonight. I just want to answer some of the basic questions. So a little bit about my background. So I own NC Christmas Lights, which is an install company. And then I'm a co-owner of Christmas Light Contractors, where we do training, supply lights to everybody, and just like ongoing support. Our business model for the distribution is pretty much to help people start and grow their lighting business. And through that, hopefully we can, through helping you guys, hopefully we can earn your business and we can all kind of grow together. So we don't require you guys to do any paid training or be any sort of subscription or whatever. I mean, I got guys all the time that hit me up in the comment section or whatever, like, hey, I'll pay you, or they'll shoot me a message like, hey, I got this one thing, I'm happy to pay you for your time. Guys, look, you don't need to pay for my time. Just reach out if you ever have any questions. If I'm available, I'll answer it. And then, like I said, when you win a job or when you grow your business, consider buying some lights from us. So with that, let me kind of give you the basics. What's the big difference between like professional grade lights and homeowner grade lights? Well, where you buy them from is going to play a big part, and then the lights themselves. The ability to custom cut and add these male and female plugs is a big consideration, right? What do I mean by that? So the wire that we use is SPT1 wire, all right? And I don't know if you can see those little holes right there. There we go. So you see the little holes in that wire? That came from the holes right there on those little spikes, those little teeth, right? On that plug. You want to separate the wires a little tiny bit, and you want to cut one end shorter than the other. Now, I wanted to address this first because somebody posted a video in the group about how to add these plugs to your wire and everything. And I do it a little bit different. I just want to share that with everybody, especially if you're just starting out in the industry, right? I personally do not take my snips and cut this way, all right, on the wire, right? I do not do this because it's a higher chance of nicking the side of the wire. And if you nick one side of the wire or you nick both of them or whatever, there's a chance that it's going to arc right in there. And that will cause a lot of heat. It'll cause you to trip breakers, or if it doesn't trip the breaker, you can actually melt some plugs. So I never like cut downward. What I will typically do, and I'll cut this fresh and just show you, these snips are a little, here's something to notice. See how the snips right there, the teeth on them are chewed up a little tiny bit. When these little cheap things, when they get like that, just throw them away. You got a lot of snips here in the press area. So, there we go. All right, so right here, when you make your cut, I'm just going to cut it fresh. All right, straight across. All right, I then go and I take these pointy snips right here, and I'm really careful not to nick the other side, and I cut one end shorter, right? And I pull it out. Now, a lot of people like to separate these. I would encourage you, instead of using your snips or anything to actually cut it and separate it, just take your fingers and pull it apart, right? This line splits pretty easily. And again, I do it this way. I don't use the snips to cut down the middle first because you're more likely to nick the side of the wire and cause a short, right? But by doing it this way, you have a little bit of separation from here and there. And when you go and you're adding your plug, it can go on opposite sides, okay? Now, when you add your plug, you always, I usually have a headlamp. I have it in my jacket right here, I think. Let's see. Might as well do it the right way, all right? So you got to flip your hat around backwards. You got to be a professional. You got to have a hat around backwards, and you got to have a headlamp, right? So I always have my little light right here so I can specifically look down in the plug and make sure that those vampire teeth, there's one on the left and one on the right. If they're both on the same side, you're going to have some problems, right? But I always look and make sure. So I take my wire, I put it in here, okay, at that far end. There's an open end of the plug and a closed end, right? So I put the wire all the way down in there and I lay it flat. Here's something that was told by other people to do is you take pliers or you take something, you really mash down that wire and really push it onto those plugs. Again, I don't agree with that because let's see if you guys can see it real well. Let me see if I can shine the light on there. There we go. What does it look like that? Is that too bright? There we go. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So you see that plug, but also that flat piece. You see that spike, right? But also the flat piece of metal right beside it. If you mash that wire down onto that flat that flat tooth, and you mash it down too hard, you're going to cut both sides of the wire. And if you cut both sides of the wire right there, and it's touching that metal spike, then what it's going to do is you're going to melt plugs. And you know, we did a bunch of research, right? Like we have people posting in the group last year. Oh my gosh, my plugs are melting. My plugs are melting. What's going on? And that's because they're taking these pliers and they're really mashing that wire down on there. And instead of it like just puncturing one side, it actually punctured one side and cut the other side a little tiny bit. And again, it was all it was arcing across. So again, my advice is just put that wire in there, lay it flat, grab your cap. Now that cap has a ridge in the middle of it, right? You see how it's raised up in the middle? That is what's going to mash the wire down. That is what the factory has done all the research on, the proper amount of compression and everything else. So you don't need to take pliers. You don't need to take your snips and like jam the wire down on there. Just lay it flat with your thumb and press it down finger tight, all right? And then slide your cap on there, open end to the open end. When you slide this on here, it will mash that wire down the appropriate amount, and that is how you add the plug. So that's just my advice. I get that when it's really cold, the wire's stiff, it's tough to get the layover and everything else, but I would just encourage you to, that's how you add your plugs, okay? And so anybody who's new, we use socket wire, right? So this wire right here, it comes in 12 inches between the bulbs or 15 inches or 24 inches, whatever. For major roof lines, I typically use 15-inch spacing between my sockets from one socket to the other. And this is that same type of wire, and it just has, it essentially has the sockets on there, and then you screw in a bulb. Now, how we clip it to the roof is you add these clips, just like so, and voila. Now, if you have a shingle, you can slide that underneath the shingle and your bulb will be standing up. And if you have a gutter like this, you can clip it onto the gutter and your bulbs will be facing outward. So then you can get to the end of your roof line, you make a cut, you add a female plug, and that's how we get custom cut lights. And that's the biggest difference between professional grade and, store-bought and everything else. You can add different type of stakes to it, ground stakes. You can add different types of clips. Here's like a halo clip. For some situations, this is a flex clip. So they come in different types of clips, different types of socket wire, and different bulbs. So here, if we want to get a different color pattern, we simply screw on a different colored bulb. So that's your standard Christmas lights. That's the 101 crash course. If you guys want more information, you can go to clc-university.com and check that out. But hey, so you see we got a bunch of people on here. No matter. Okay, we got a bunch of people. Somebody's saying ew. I guess my face. Sorry, Izzy. I was born with this face. Hi, hey. Vitaly's saying hey. Stephanie's saying ew again. So I guess everybody thinks that I'm ew today. Who else we got? There we go. I wish you guys could see this lady's profile picture. Ew. The feeling's mutual. Bobby, hey, what's going on, Bobby? What's going on, man? There we go. So no matter how many, what these people say, I believe in you. This is such a great idea. Cool, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, but if anybody has any questions or anything like that pertaining to lights or business or anything, feel free to put it in the comment section. I really just wanted to hop on here and kind of address that one thing that I saw. I'm not a fan of somebody taking pliers or anything and really mashing down the wire on those plugs. I think that it causes more problems And even my thing is that I've never ever done that before, and I have zero issues with my plugs. The biggest thing that I do so that I don't have issues with connectivity on my plugs is I actually install all of the lights with them powered on. Matter of fact, let's see if we can find one of these on-off remotes I got over here. Let's see. Oh, dear gosh, man. So let's see. All right, so this is actually a really good tool. This isn't what I use, but this is called a kilowatt meter. You can plug this into the house, and you plug your lights in here. You hit the down button until you get to amps, and it'll tell you how many amps is on your system. Yeah, Vitali's asking. That's funny. How do you get more hours in a day? Need about 36. Yeah, same thing, man. Oh gosh, and I tell you what, like sometimes you send a crew out and you're like, oh my gosh, that's all you got done, and then sometimes you're like, holy cow, you got 10 jobs done yourself. So it's amazing what can get done in a day, but a lot of times it gets down to the business owner just saying, man, I wish I had more time. I really want to show you guys those on-off remotes. I know I got a bunch of them around here somewhere. I got some in the back of my truck. But what other questions you guys got? Here's a couple other cool clips. So this here is a light clip strip, right? So it comes with these adhesive bases. Somebody just asked me, how do you clip lights around a garage door? So we add these right here. It comes with a sticky backing. It's 3M double-sided tape. You just peel off the back like so. Let me. All right, so say this is like the edge of something. You just peel off the back, you stick that on there, and then you have your bulb and your socket wire, right? This light clip strip goes around there, and you just snap it on, and then it take down, it comes right off, the clip stays on the bulb, and the base stays up permanently on the surface. So do not try to get these suckers off right here after the fact. Don't try to take them down every single year. It will be a nightmare to try to take these things off. My advice to you, when you're putting them on, to make sure that they don't fall, is to get some denatured alcohol and a microfiber rag. Clean that surface really, really, really well, okay? Before you go putting that base piece on there, because otherwise they will fall right away, and especially if you're installing a little early or a little late and you're starting to have some dew and condensation, those suckers will just fall right down. Where is my on-off remote? Yeah, I apologize. I don't see any over here, guys. They must all be in the trucks. But yeah, hey, this is the shop. Let me kind of walk through maybe my prep area. That might be cool for some people to see. So over here on this wall right here is just our hook wall. We have different reeds and stuff like that need to go out on the job site. I'm actually going to do the prep for tomorrow morning. That's why I'm here at the shop. So this is empty right here. We just got these new reeds out that I'm testing out. They look like poo coming out of the box, but they look fairly full, pretty decent once you fluff them. So we're going to have all of our greenery and everything like that prepped right here, ready to go for the trucks for the day. When they're offloading at the end of the day, you see those bins? These are all like miscellaneous bins and everything else that, hey, unload all your crap bins out of the van at the end of the day, all right? And we're going to get it organized. And then I use these different trash cans right here, and we prep the lights in these trash cans, right? So all the roofline lights and everything else gets prepped into the trash can. And then we have we do have different colored lights that we do. So I have different colored trash cans. And so the different trash cans are for our different color patterns. And basically the main one is the gray trash can. There's all of our warm white lights that we'll have prepped. And one trash can will hold about 500 feet of lights. But let's say that there's a candy cane job, which is red and white, right here, red, sun warm white, and that goes into a red trash can. So right here, if you have a job, right, that is red and white, they can just grab that if it's prepped, or they know if we don't have one of these trash cans ready that they're going to have to grab the bulbs and bring it to themselves. So, okay, we got a couple of questions in here. Let's see. Okay, any good remedies for attaching lights to brick home, or is the answer that everyone tells you don't do it? It's tough, right? So hot glue is basically the only thing that I know of that is a good solution, right? So I get the Ryobi. Yeah, again, I don't see any right here, but there is a Ryobi battery powered glue gun. I typically use that. Just put a tiny, tiny little dab of basically on the side of the socket. Whenever you hot glue, try to avoid going on the bottom of the socket because sometimes it can grip so well when you go to pull it down, it'll actually rip the socket off the wire. So I'll put a little dab just on the side, like on that underside there where the wire's not in the way. And you want to hold it there. So you're going to do a little dab, hold it there, count to like 10 or 15, right? So it's going to take you 10, 15 seconds for every single bulb. But hold it on there and then don't put any weight on it. Make sure, like when you move to the next bulb, that you're already supporting it, that thing does not pop off. If you are having sockets pop off, what you can do is put a little dab on the brick and leave it there, right? Like you put the socket on there and you pull it off real quick, and it's going to leave some residue on the brick, and then you can do another dab again. By having that hot glue bond to the brick real well, and then basically doing 2 dabs of that hot glue, it tends to hold a lot better. Yeah, if it's dry or anything like that, you can get a blowtorch and torch the area first, and that tends to help the hot glue stick. What is the best way to stay awake when you're about to do 14? Yeah. Look, man, the best thing to do is not take breaks and not eat a big dinner. Just power through it, right? So we did some night shifts where we're doing tower trees and pole wraps and tree wraps and everything else. And the longest shift was like 17, 18-hour shifts. And so that's the biggest thing. Like, just don't stop. Keep working. Don't take breaks. And then coffee and all that good stuff is always helpful. But that's the biggest thing. Just don't slow down. Keep going. Hopefully you won't die. All right, Jake, how many homes do we do a year? We do about 200-300 homes. Not huge, not little. We stay pretty busy. Okay, a torch will help also with the light clip strips to warm up the surface. Yeah, so brick or anything like that for light clip strips or hot glue, you can use literally a blowtorch real quick. Obviously, don't damage the surface. But curb appeal, yeah. Hey, awesome, man. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Hey, does anybody else have any other questions? I mean, oh gosh, I guess I could talk to you a little bit about some jobs we got coming up. So we got some interior jobs coming up. So we've been prepping. We got 6 of these trees right here. We got a bunch of ornaments that are about to go on them, and those are going to get installed next Monday. We got all of our 60-inch wreaths. Dear gosh, we got a lot of stuff. We need to prep about 50 strands of garland this week, still to prep. This is all of my inventory that we are trying not to use this year. We're trying to give it away, sell it, whatever. But trying to get it out the door so that way we don't use it. So we're going to sort through all of that at the end of the season, keep what we're going to keep, and probably just trash or sell or give away a lot of it as much as we can. Back here, spritzers for days, spritzers and mini lights and everything else up there. One thing that I'm doing is I'm keeping these tree boxes. All your really nice shipping boxes. Oh gosh, how can I? There we go. So up here are all just empty boxes of things. When this stuff comes down, I mean, instead of just throwing it in a pile or piling it in right here, the better you guys can keep your greenery. And the better organized you can do it, the more you can protect it, the longer it's going to last. If you just pile everything, like all these wreaths, okay? If you just pile them all on top of each other, you're going to destroy thousands of dollars worth of investments. And these ornaments, let me show you some of these ornaments over here. Okay. So right here, we got different size ornaments and stuff, and they come in. Just tripod up. There you go. So here's I think that's a 6-inch. So we got a 6-inch ornament. You got 4-inch ornaments. Okay, and so you got some different sizes. This sucker right here is going to cost you $6, $7, $8 for an ornament, right? This guy right here is going to be $2, $3, $4 for one ornament. So if you're just tearing all your stuff up or scratching it, let me show you. There we go. Let's show you right here. A new ornament, okay, brand new, versus one that is been used and everything like that. There's nothing you can do, right, to get this guy, see how scratched up it is and stuff like that, ever looking like this. So that is just something to be really careful of like all your greenery and protecting it so it's not rubbing on each other and everything else. Because once this thing gets dirty and scratched up and faded and stuff, it's basically trash. You know, our clients are paying. Here's a good example. Like this is one that's just like rubbed on something, so you're just gonna have to throw it away. Maybe this one side, right? You can. What you can do is you can get 2 or 3 years out of this side, and then flip it around and use the other side. So you can get a few years out of them. But you know, my thing is that it's a pretty steep investment to do all this stuff. A lot of times, year one, you're not making any money on the product. So we're charging for these trees. We're probably charging $1,000 a tree, and we'll probably have $1,000 in cost in these trees to put them up. So, you know, year one, we're gonna break even, maybe lose a little bit of money, but we're hoping that these ornaments and decorations and everything else will last for 3, 4, 5 years. So it'll be an investment in the long run. But we're probably gonna be breaking even, close to breaking even year one on all these trees that we're putting up and the wreaths and things like that. So, and if your guys are tearing stuff up and just, you know, stacking them and breaking ornaments and stuff like that, your clients will absolutely start saying, you know, hey, look, I'm paying a lot of money for this and it's starting to look shabby. It looked really good last year. This year, it looks kind of like, you know, the ornaments and the bows and stuff like that. They just don't look good. So, yeah, there's my advice. Take care of your stuff so that it will last. Well, guys and gals, I'm not seeing a whole lot of questions on here. I am going to hop off. I will try to do a few more lives and give you guys some different tips and things like that. If you got any questions, you can always reach out to me. And if you need any lights or materials or anything like that, you know, definitely check out lightsforsale.com. We'd love to earn your business. Keep this in mind, right? The closer we get to Thanksgiving, UPS takes longer to ship everything out, okay? So do not plan on, if it's normally like a 2-day shipping or whatever, plan on 3 to 4 days. If you place the order at lightsforsale.com, we will get it shipped out that day, but once it's out the door, it's outside of our control. What if UPS loses the box? What if, you know, that all of that happens right now? So all I'm saying is, like, plan accordingly when you're ordering. Give yourselves plenty of time. Don't promise your client that it's going to get installed the day after. You think it's going to be 2-day shipping. Don't promise your client it's going to be installed in 3 days. What if UPS loses a box, right? There's nothing that we can do about that. And then you're going to have to pay for overnight shipping so you don't disappoint the client. So all I'm saying is plan ahead. If you think you're going to need some stuff over the next couple of weeks, go ahead and order it now. And don't be left without anything, or don't be left waiting on UPS to show up. So with that, God bless.